There'll be a united effort of organizations in California, New York, and St. Louis, and Texas, and so forth. And this will be a real united cause, we feel.
Why have you made Skokie a target?
Because we want to dramatize the fact that we are not allowed to speak anywhere in the United States. The news media and most everyone ignored our plight until we decided to demonstrate in areas where white power was most opposed, and that's mostly Skokie.
Collin claims even though the Nazi Party tries to avoid violence, a race war in America is inevitable and will happen by the end of this decade or the early 1980s. Ken Watts, ABC News, Chicago.
Mr. Collins, what is your initial reaction to the court's decision?
Very pleased, because now we have our right to demonstrate again, and to demonstrate as much as we want until we get our right to free speech back.
What do you plan to do now? Do you plan to go ahead and make massive demonstrations on the Skokie City Hall?
Yes, we intend to demonstrate on July 4th in front of the Village Hall. That's at high noon. And we'll be demonstrating for our right to free speech. Although we are allowed to demonstrate, we still cannot speak. We've selected July 4th for two reasons. First of all, it's Independence Day, and we feel that our founding fathers who fought for freedom fought for our right to speak as well. The other reason is that on July 4th, National Socialist groups from all over the country will be meeting here, convening in Chicago for our National Socialist Congress, and that these delegates, some 30 or 40 of them, will be demonstrating with us. Last November, I wasn't allowed to make one single speech in any of the areas where I ran for office. And through Dixie, the same people, for the most part, who are opposing our right to free speech, and that's why we demonstrate in Skokie.
What do you hope to accomplish by holding demonstrations in a community that is largely made up of Jewish people?
Well, Skokie is still mostly Gentile. I think the population of Skokie in percentages is about 47 or 48%. That's close, I know, but we do have supporters there, and this is the only thing left open to us. Since we aren't allowed to speak, we might as well demonstrate, and demonstrate as dramatically as we can.
Do you believe then that the only way the National Socialist Party can really make its point is by confrontation, demonstrations, and even violence?
No, not by confrontation so much, unless it's legal. We would like a legal confrontation with our opponents. If the people of Skokie want to counter-demonstrate our demonstration, that's entirely their right. But the moment that they cancel out our rights to demonstrate, that's when we most object to their demonstrations. If they want to come out and demonstrate, that again is their right and their privilege, and we would welcome something like that. If they want to ignore us, that's fine too. The main thing that we feel is that we are allowed to demonstrate. That's all we're concerned with. The moment, however, that we are given back our rights to free speech, where I can speak in Marquette Park again, in Gage Park, and Bogan, when I can speak there, I have no further interest in Skokie or any of these other areas. We're doing this only to dramatize the fact that we cannot speak. The moment we can, we have no further interest in those areas.
But you are aware of the past actions and past history of the National Socialist Party demonstrations have led to some violent confrontation.
The violence has come from the other side. We never attack anyone unless we are attacked. When we are attacked, we attack back with utmost ruthlessness. We will not allow anyone to interfere with our rights, but at the same time, we aren't going to take anybody else's rights away.
During the late 60s, the United States went through a period of violent racial confrontation, which almost tore the country apart.
Yes.
Do you think that at this time it is in the interest of the country to reinstitute that type of a climate?
Truth is always in the interests of a community, whether the times are favorable towards it or not. The utmost truth, Adolf Hitler's truth, that the white race is the master race and has the right to dominate and should dominate, that truth is eternal and should be broadcast and spoken about regardless of the climate of the times.
Do that many people really believe in that doctrine?
I think the overwhelming majority of the American people, the white American people, believe in white supremacy, believe that America is a white man's country and should be preserved as such.
Why then is the National Socialist Party not able to raise more than 1,300 members nationwide?
Because we're not allowed to speak. If our idea was not so powerful, if we were just a bunch of crackpots, then the whole system wouldn't be doing everything possible to keep us from the masses of people. We led a march of over 1,000 people. Police estimates put it at almost 1,400 people on October 12, 1975. That's when we could speak. The more we can speak, the more our elections succeed, the larger our demonstrations. And that's why we have such a hard time succeeding, because they won't let us speak. The moment that we can speak, then you'll see how many people are on our side.
Do you believe in violence as the ultimate means to your goal?
I believe that violence is partially a means, not the ultimate means. I think that people who use violence against us, the only answer to that is violence, counter-violence, a superior violence, a more ruthless violence. But if we are able to participate in elections fairly, if we can speak, then there's no need for violence. It's only when these essential freedoms are deprived of us, or when someone tries to physically abuse us, that violence is not only necessary, but a duty.
But you're saying that if you don't get your way through the system, that you're going to try other ways, including violence.
Yes.
And violence directed at whom?
At the system.
By the system, you mean whom?
I mean the entire, what you represent here in the news media, who lie about our activities and about our ideas, the people who pass laws against us, like Bernard Stone has in City Council, basically the same Skokie ordinances to prevent us from disseminating our literature, from speaking in public ever, from even existing, from displaying our symbols and our ideas. That is tyranny, and the only answer to tyranny is a fight for freedom. Now, we're fighting in the courts because it works, and we have bent over backwards to be legal, and will continue to be legal. But the moment that we see that legal recourse is denied us, then we'll take up the sword of revolution just as our founding fathers, and we'll have every right to do so.
Realistically, in this country, what do you think the future of the Nazi Party is?
I think the future is tremendous. I wouldn't be in the thing if I didn't think that success is the ultimate goal here in America. There are just literally tens of thousands of people who support us. And I think beyond that, there are millions of people who, that if they could just hear what we have to say, would support us. If we had a free election, I tell you this, if we had a free election, a nationwide election, and we had the money necessary to run an election properly, the party could be in power within 5 years. Within the early 1980s, we could be legally elected, although I think that's almost impossible under this system because free elections are non-existent in this country.
What type of person wants to join the Nazi Party?
A man who loves his white race more than anything else on this earth, who's willing to fight for it and die for it, and if necessary, make others die for it, so long as the white race survives. That's the number one motivation of all of us, that we love our own white people and our constitutional republic. We're fighting for the freedom of our country and our race.
You think the majority of the white persons in this country really believe in your doctrine wholeheartedly?
They believe in the idea of white supremacy. They don't know about our doctrine, so they can't support it. The moment that they do know about it, and especially in all the details of white unity and so forth, then they will support us, and are supporting us. That's about all, though. It's very hard to progress.
How long can you continue in this financial state?
No, we always have. Adolf Hitler brought the Nazi Party in on the financial skids. The party was bankrupt in 1933.
Okay, you can look at me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're saying that if you don't get your way, you'll use any means necessary, including violence.
Well, what I did say is that we'll pursue our course through the courts, and that we'll pursue our legal way through the courts, and if those things are denied us, then we have to have some other way of reaching our goals. Oh, all right.
Are you saying that the majority of American white persons, scratch that, let's do it again. Are you saying that the majority of white persons in America actually support what the Nazi Party preaches?
I believe that the majority of white people in the United States support our program of America, led by a constitutional republic that we're after, is one ruled by law, by the Constitution. We don't want to destroy the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. We want to uphold those principles. But we feel that America's in sad shape because they stand and their cultures are at such variance with this white culture of ours that it leads only to confrontations and to disharmony in our society. It'd be wrong for us to expect this constitutional republic to be put in Africa, for example, just as it is wrong to...
What about Jews?
Okay. Maybe I'll make it a little faster next time. Well, you know, it's funny because their slogan, you know, is Channel 2 is everywhere. But
Nowhere.
they're nowhere.
All right.
The Jews will flee the country. Won't have to worry about laws or anything else. The day that we hopefully will have any problem as far as any Jews living there, they'll flee en masse to Israel.
So we're going to see the Nazi Party become more apparent, more
sir.
visible.
I met with the mayor, and I've told him the following. Should the Nazis not appear, as it so appears now, there are representatives inside there of the other Jewish groups. We differ strongly on the issue of violence. My stand on violence has not changed. The Nazis will not march in Skokie without being physically beaten.
Rabbi, now that the courts have apparently dampened the possibility of there being a march here, what use is there of the JDL being in Skokie?
First of all, let it be quite clear that the courts have only postponed this march. It is quite clear to me that the village ordinance will eventually not be upheld, and that there will be at some point, whether this Monday or whether in 2 Mondays from now, or whether in 2 months from now, an attempt made by the Nazis to march after the High Court has given them the right to. They will not march whether they get a right or not a right. There will not be Nazis marching in this country.
What did the mayor say about the prospect of violence if the Nazis do march at any time and the JDL is here to face them?
The mayor was just happy to hear that if the Nazis don't march this Monday, that there won't be violence.
How long
I think
do you
we're
intend to
satisfied
stay
with that. I am going to be here through Monday, and then I'm going home to Israel. At that point, we'll see what happens with the various court proceedings, and that of course will have much to do with whether I come back here or not. I just want to make one thing clear: the issue is not Skokie. On the day that the Nazis would march in this city, you'll have 5 marches by 5 other Nazi groups in 5 other cities within half a year. This is a test case. They won't march in Skokie, and they won't march anywhere else.
Since you say that there will be violence, aren't you liable for the violation of the H.R.A.P. Brown Act?
I don't know what the H.R.A.P. Brown Act means to me. I don't know anything of the sort. I just know that Nazis are not going to march in this city or anywhere else.
Aren't you in fact blaming the situation by forecasting violence?
Not at all. I'm not forecasting violence. I'm saying that if the Nazis march, I promise violence.
Where are you going to be once again on Monday?
I am going to be with the group and with the crowds, and if the Nazis don't march, there is being planned a gathering at the Jewish Community Center offices, which or building, which is private property and therefore not subject to the ordinance.
Since you're sure that there's going to be an attempt by the Nazis to march in Skokie, would you just as soon it came Monday when everyone's ready for them?
No, I would rather not see them march Monday, because who knows where they'll be Tuesday.
Rabbi, do your people have a permit or permission of the village officials to gather here Monday?
No one, neither I nor any of the Jewish groups has any permit to gather anywhere outside private property. And we have no intention of gathering for a march or for a parade or for a meeting outside of private property unless the Nazis show up. I don't like to break laws. I really don't. I think it's that breaking laws leads to anarchy. But sometimes there are things that transcend laws, and I think that those people who cheered on Dr. Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi may also find some reason to cheer us on in that statement.
Are you comparing yourself to Gandhi and King?
I'm comparing my position to theirs.
Frank Collin said his group doesn't want to break any laws either. That sort of puts you on the same side when it comes to legalities, doesn't it?
I don't care what Frank Collin says. I know what Frank Collin plans to do if he would have the opportunity. He would put Jews in ovens. He is not going to put anybody in ovens. And I think that while we're talking about the question of Jewishness and violence, as an Orthodox rabbi, I want to quote from the Talmud, which says, if one comes to slay you, slay him first. Okay?
Rabbi, are you still the prohibition in New York, is that still in effect?
I'm very clear.
Why do you think, Frank Collin's father supposedly is Jewish. Why do you think he's turned Nazi?
I'm not a psychiatrist, and I'm not about to put Collin on.
I thought the rabbi's statements were very fair, frank, and honest. I think the most important thing he said was that if the Nazis do not come to Skokie on July 4th, none of his people will be on the streets, and that his people will not break any of Skokie's code and ordinances.
You're satisfied then that there won't be any kind of violent confrontation on Monday?
Yes, I believe that that's a strong possibility now.
Did he warn you that it may not be Monday, but it may come later on in the week, later on in the month?
Yes, he did say that.
How did you react to that?
Well, we're going to continue to do what we've been doing, and that is use every possible legal means at our disposal to see that they don't come, because we don't want them here either.
Have you gotten reaction from some of the village residents who they say are survivors of the Holocaust?
They have let us know how they feel. Many of them are very personal friends of mine, and I know what their attitudes are. And I think their attitudes have some merit.
Mr. Smith.
Mayor, didn't he really give you what amounts to a warning? I mean, didn't he say that if the Nazis were here, they're going to break the ordinance as well?
No, he did not say that.
That's what we gathered from him.
Well, it's probably then a matter of interpretation. But in our meeting, he did not say that.
Well, what's your interpretation, then, of his plans?
My interpretation of his plans are that he would ask us to continue to do what we've been doing, to try and prevent their coming to this community, and that he would cooperate with us in every way possible in our trying to do that. He said, of course, if the Nazis march wherever they march, he probably would have to engage in violence. And of course, my reaction today is the same as it is every day. I don't believe that violence is the answer to any real problem, because violence only begets violence.
Mayor Smith, don't you think that you should seek a court action against him committing violence as well as the Nazis?
I haven't discussed that with our attorneys because that hasn't been brought up. We've been rather busy.
Is that a possibility?
I don't know legally whether it is or not.
There's a provision on the H.Rap Brown Act crossing state lines to commit acts of violence.
Well, I'm sure that the attorneys that we have working on this matter will be investigating all of them.
Their intentions, their reasons for coming to Skokie.
I made such a request to my office.
Well, they've indicated to us that they have, I guess.
Well, but that is not a
Would you
fact.
meet with them if they had requested?
The door is always open. As you gentlemen well know.
Maybe this isn't a fair question.
They are disposed to violence regardless of what the law says.
As a municipal official and as an individual, I always feel threatened by people who threaten violence. Because again, I think violence is a bad answer to any problem.
So you're threatened by Mayor Kahana as well?
I didn't get that attitude from his discussion with me here in my office.
Well, we could play the tape for you and you'd hear him threatening violence.
Well, he knows, and he was told, that if he creates violence in this community, he will be arrested.
The rabbi will be.
Anyone who does will be.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, well, this meeting is a bit of a first. I see a lot of people have been scared off by the TV cameras, but it's a first in that this is the first meeting where we've ever had a Negro in attendance. So maybe it won't be our last, I don't know. But be that as it may, as you know, we received nationwide media coverage this past week since our Supreme Court decision. I'm not going to tell you what you already know, but what this means is that we have reached more people at any other time in the history of the whole movement. And the news media people here, of course, say that we're somehow evil or wrong for wanting to get publicity, when in fact these are the very same people who won't allow our side to be heard, and that's why, of course, we have to go through such radical extremes as marching into a Jew suburb in order to make that publicity and reach our people somehow, since all the electronic curtain that they've got over the minds of our people. And we've been very successful in doing that. The TV people we have here are ABC. This is for a nationwide show to be broadcast tomorrow, I believe, in the evening. You'll have to consult the TV sometime. We have a number of radio appearances coming up. The most recent will be over WLNR. That's about 106 on the FM dial from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock. And that will be this Wednesday for those of you who are able to tune us in at that time. As far as the case itself, I'm going to review it only very briefly. What the Supreme Court said, the whole concept of our people being free. And two, because on July 4th, we'll be meeting here, the third meeting of the National, and we're going to be seeing the largest Congress ever put together, the National Socialists from all over the United States. We've already got assurances from our units all over California, National Socialist White Workers Party in San Francisco, a really big march. So the Jews aren't going to be able to say there were only 10 or 15 people after they see people live. It should be a really significant demonstration. With our different uniforms, but unified under the one people don't prefer to. And it is not. And the cops will probably hope that there'll be a confrontation, that will get beat, and that will retreat. Well, our finances have improved enormously, thanks to the contributions of our best supporters. We're reaching the end of our $4,000 debt, but we still need more assistance. Whatever you can throw in, please help us with. Those of you who haven't helped us at all, throw in something. We've got to be able to reach our $4,000 debt. They can't get us legally, they can't get us by physical force or violence, so they're going to try to get us, of course, through that door of finance. So continue your support. You must have it in order to survive. So again, it's clear in everybody's mind, we march July 4th, and has been overturned. It'll be a simple task, the exact same. It's one of those tyrannical and unconstitutional ordinances one by one. This is a promise that we are keeping, as you may have. We're going to demonstrate to these people that we're willing to go to any lengths to get our rights back. And I think that because of all the hell we've been raising and will raise, that we'll get our rights to free speech back. My only Skokie is what it amounts to, by putting so much pressure on the authorities that we can get our rights back. The only reason we're going to Skokie is so we can have our rallies and our right to free speech again in Marquette Park, specifically passed by one vote. If we had lost, there's a good chance we would. The whole inconceivable. The power-puffed Jews out there, Channel 2, had an editorial to the effect that, well, since there's nothing that can be done to stop the Nazis legally, he wouldn't mind seeing a few bloody noses in Skokie. What this means is that the news media now is going to try to agitate the people there and try to get them out. Any of you have heard the Dick Clark show, I believe it was his name, Dick Clark or Dane Clark, whatever. He also said something to the effect that few and far between their people and their nation in spirit march the martyrs of our race. Make way before the marching ground battalion, and there flies the swastika with hope for faithless freedom is at hand. There flies the swastika with hope for faithless millions. The day of Aryan freedom is at hand.
Frank, could you tell me once again how many people you expect to actually show up for this July 4th demonstration?
I can't say at this time, although we've got calls the past few days from New Jersey and California and Texas, so I think we'll have a good-sized demonstration, possibly 100 men.
Now, you're aware that the village of Skokie has ordinances against the kind of demonstration you're trying to put on. How do you plan, or how are you thinking about overcoming that ordinance in time for the 4th of July?
Well, in view of the Supreme Court decision which declared the injunction unconstitutional, we feel we'll be able to go in very easily because the ordinances are almost word for word the same thing as the injunction. And I'm meeting with my attorneys today, as a matter of fact, to strike every one of those ordinances.
What happens if you aren't able to strike them by the 4th of July? You plan to go on with the demonstration anyway?
I probably shall. Probably shall.
We saw the other day, and also your activities on the 4th of July. Are we seeing a resurgence across the country of neo-Nazism?
Absolutely, absolutely. The movement now is bigger and stronger in America than it has ever been before. And I think that the great token of its strength is that it is so banned, it is so legislated against, as we have proven in Skokie, that it has a resilience which no other organization or movement in the world has ever had. To think that we are so restricted and can still come out and amass numbers and get good support from the masses of people.
Why at this time do you think we're seeing a resurgence of neo-Nazism?
We haven't been allowed the opportunity to express this idea properly. Once we do, then our idea will triumph because it is in line with what the masses, the majority of people believe in, their own white race.
What type of person belongs to the Nazi Party? Only Jewish, and put on a demonstration like this. Isn't that just asking for trouble?
Certainly there's a lot of trouble in fighting for freedom. Our founding fathers went through an awful lot of trouble to secure their freedom and the freedoms that we're fighting for now. But we are trying to dramatize the state of affairs that we are legislated against, that we're fighting a tyranny, and that by coming out and fighting in Skokie if necessary, we're bringing those ideas home to the masses of people.
What is the significance of the flag with the 13 stars?
We fly the Revolutionary War flag to remind the masses of our people of their heritage of revolution, that we are a free people because we fought for freedom. Freedom was never handed anybody as a right, but it was always fought for and won. This is to remind us of that heritage, to fight for freedom, and that revolution is not un-American, that it is a very American thing to do. All revolutions against tyranny, true tyranny, are justified.
Do you consider yourself in a state of war right now?
Absolutely. We're in a state of cold war with the system, which sometimes heats up, possibly as on July 4th, but we are in a state of constant warfare with the system.
So you're not afraid of any kind of a confrontation on the 4th of July. In fact, in a way, you're actually looking forward to it.
No, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to securing our rights, and I will do whatever is necessary to get those rights back, confrontation or not. I would prefer that could be avoided. I am bending over backwards to be legal. We've gone all the way to the Supreme Court to secure our rights. If in view of the fact that the Supreme Court has ruled in our favor, and Skokie still will not bend, then I feel I'm justified in doing anything in getting our rights back.
What's been the reaction of people in the neighborhood to your presence here?
Well, I think the fact that we're flying the swastika flag today, and that we have a sign, about a 15-foot sign on the side of our building saying, "Stop the niggers," I think indicates that we have a tremendous support amongst the masses of people. Our rallies, when we could have them, bore that out. We had rallies quite often of 1,000 and 2,000 people. We had a demonstration on October 12th, 1975. Police estimates put that at 1,400 people before it was stopped by the police. So I figure that we have a tremendous mass support here.
No one's ever come up to you and said, take that sign down or take that flag down?
Oh, certainly. Of course there are people who are against us. We've never claimed to win the majority of people. But I think that we have won a significant minority which is expanding and turning into a majority. And any idea as radical as ours and revolutionary is naturally going to be misunderstood in its early days. We are now coming to the end of those early days, perhaps, and moving on to a period of understanding where the masses of our people see what National Socialism is, and as soon as they see what it is, they'll want it.
Have you had any incidents of violence against your flag and your sign here?
Oh, absolutely. We've been bombed and shot at here, and we've had brawls right in this very room. Matter of fact, one gentleman and I went rolling right through the front window when we had windows here. So there's been a lot of opposition. It's come almost exclusively, though, from Jewish groups, not even from Negro groups. I don't think we've ever been attacked by blacks or Negro organizations here. They call us on the phone, and that's about all. But It's mostly Jewish and communist organizations that we've had physical confrontations with.
So during your period here, you have had opposition from some people, in fact, violent opposition, but you've managed to somehow stick around.
Not in the community. The violent opposition has always come outside the community. This is an exclusively white Aryan community. It's mostly from areas like Skokie that our enemy has come to hit our building, and places way outside the area. The southwest side of Chicago, I'd say, is generally in favor of the party. I don't know if it's a majority, but it's a general feeling that National Socialism belongs here.
So are you saying that the majority of white people in this country actually support the Nazi doctrine?
Yes, the majority of people do when they understand that white power is synonymous with white supremacy, which the average American does believe in.
So you're not only willing to have a confrontation on the 4th of July, you're actually looking forward to it in a way.
No, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm anxious to secure our rights in whatever way is possible, the best way. The regional director is my attorney, David Goldberger, and I'm dropping off a copy of our bylaws today. And this is in another suit that we have against the Chicago Park District. It's going to be discussing things in Skokie too, but mostly it's going to work on these bylaws today. Mostly the work against the Skokie Park, or rather the Skokie authorities, will be taken up next Monday and Tuesday, I guess. That's when we really start going back into court again. We should be in court.
It took Skokie to do that.
No, we go back to civil court, and I'm very confident, about 90% confident that it'll be overturned, because the courts are. The Illinois State Court would have a hard time opposing a Supreme Court decision. It might be an easy thing for Skokie to do if they...
Some people in Skokie react violently when they see a swastika. People who are members of a group called Remnants of the Holocaust. They are the survivors of Nazi concentration camps of World War II.
Shall I locate you?
No.
How much more? What else shall I do? For the table. The tablecloth I don't have with it. I have to go to the bedroom today. Yes, just a minute. He will be coming right away. Just a second. Okay, this is for Ben's turn. Ben? Your wife is on the phone.
Should forgive ABC for
All right, I
delaying
hope so. Here,
for delaying
you go
our...
ahead.
Hello. Yes. A few more minutes. I'm sorry, but the ABC took over, spoiled our dinner. I just have no heart to leave him. Okay, I'll be home soon. 5 minutes, please. Thank you. I'll be home soon. Bye. Yeah, thank you. Take this, sit there.
To meistens gick jag efter ganska kör. Ja, de märker skjuter till finalen till någon.
It's not too far to our coast.
No. Så det ska vi köra för.
Minus artista mot Khalas.
Okay, I don't have a holly here, right?
That's all right, and there's a holly right there. Where I find a
Öster
book.
då ser vi har vi anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, how he will bring a book? Oh, that book is okay.
Oh, that book is no good?
Yes, yes, it's okay. Come here. Come here, Howard, already. Ah, they just never around.
There you are.
No, you got a glass.
All right, come here.
Here we have one.
Come on.
Come on, as much as it is. Come here to the table.
Station that's fine.
I already poured.
That's exactly what I did.
Come to the table.
All right, the cup is full. You make
Yeah.
Kiddush and let it go on the bell.
Can you stand in front of me?
Sure. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvah ratzavanu, Shabbos kachal b'vav ratzon, hin kilanu zikra l'maseh v'reishis, ki hu yom techila, l'mikar kodesh, zecher tzas mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, v'elsanu kidasha, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbos kachcha, b'avav ratzon, hin chaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbos.
Amen.
Give to them. Okay. Now cut, because we don't have any more. The holly.
That's all.
Come on. You want to drink?
I don't drink alcohol.
Oh,
but,
boy. Sit down.
All right.
Sit down, son.
Sit down.
Hi, don't put it.
Well, I'm at your disposal.
Can you stop 1 second, please?
Yeah, well, anything you want me to do specifically? No? All right, I'll just leave them on the desk then, that's fine. Edit.